What is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all. Now, today, I got a pretty interesting video in store for y'all. It's Sunday. Friday, y'all know we dropped a video with Love Enchanting and the 1017 curse, so that was supposed to be my Sunday video. But I wanted to go ahead and get it out. Plus, I had this video in mind as well. So, this will be a little bit different from the usual Sunday sacrifice video, right? Now, again, I have this clip from Jaguar Wright, and she's back on the blue couch on the channel that she always does interviews on. Now, in this particular interview she did, it was very interesting. It wasn't really about exposing the industry on how things usually be. This one was something I thought y'all would appreciate, because a lot of y'all have like different opinions about Jaguar Wright, but this one, I thought everyone would appreciate what she has to say and what she's actually talking about. In this one, she goes into detail about AI, the mark of the beast, Neuralink, what the future will be like with cell phones and technology. She gets into some things I've never really heard her talk about, and it is very interesting, and I thought we had to do a video on it, react to the interview that she did. And of course, y'all already know, I definitely got to give my input on the things that she's talking about, right? So I'm gonna keep this intro short. We'll go ahead and jump into the clip. I think I just got one or two clips that I want to show of her, and I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it all. Check this out.
The mark of the beast will be in the hand or in the head. The Neuralink is a chip that gives the human brain the ability to operate and function like a computer. Now, it's not easy to get. You might need $1 billion, but Elon will hook you up. Get you all AI ready. You don't even need a phone to make phone calls anymore. You don't have to use computers anymore. This is where the world is going. Motorola said last year, they made an announcement in March before I went into Parkland when my second ex-husband had me registered as crazy. Drugged for days. Just how I know too, see. But they said it. They made the announcement. Starting 2030, all cell phones will be bio inside your right hand. Chip in your head, chip in your hand. Technology is the mark of the beast. It's very simple. And yet people won't accept it. It says in the Bible, an intelligent man will know the number of man is 666. For whatever reason, humanity wants to believe that the only language that ever existed was the English language. There were a lot of languages that existed long before English. And numbers were invented late in the game of life and literature. It was all symbols, especially coming from Kemet, Egypt. The number 6, the symbol for it, in Latin numerology, is W. What did we used to have to type before they started making it a ghost so you didn't have to acknowledge you were writing 666, 666, 666, 666 all day, all night?
What is www? What is it?
No, that's the acronym we gave it. That's the acronym we gave it. It never had a name.
Wow.
It was just www. Somebody invented that World Wide Web shit.
Now, in this portion of the interview, she was really going in. I usually don't, I would let it play out, but I wanted to jump in real quick because, the clip started off with her talking about where cell phones will go, and the Neuralink implant that was actually just done. They actually just ran, I think it was a couple of months ago at the beginning of this year, where their first human trial was implanted into someone that was paralyzed from the shoulders down after he had an accident diving about 8 years ago. Real quick, just to give y'all some context, Elon Musk's Neuralink chip suffers unexpected setback in first human brain implant. Brain chip startup Neuralink suffered an unexpected problem in its first ever human implant as the device began to detach from the patient's skull, reducing the amount of data it could capture. Neuralink's brain-computer interface, known as BCI, was implanted into 29-year-old patient Nolan Arbaugh's brain in January. The chip is designed to help patients with paralysis control external technology using only their mind. And he is paralyzed from the shoulders down, like I said, due to a diving accident. Neuralink's chip contains 1,024 electrodes across 64 threads, which are thinner than a strand of human hair, that are programmed to gather data about the brain's neural activity and movement intention and send that data to the company's computer for decoding to transform the thoughts into action. However, in the weeks since the astounding video, a number of threads retracted from the man's brain, resulting in a net decrease in the number of effective electrodes. So this is not saying that like the dude is gonna die or something like that. Basically, something just happened to the implant to where they're not being able to read everything that they're supposed to read off of his brain. And they're literally transforming his thoughts into action so he can have movement again, basically, which is pretty much insane. But what I also thought was very interesting is how, which was one of my biggest points I wanted to talk about in this video, was the connection from the internet. Now, we've talked about this before with CERN. A lot of y'all are new to the page. You may not have seen my CERN videos, www, World Wide Web. We went into this information before, but it's dope to see Jaguar, Wright, talk about it and make the connections. So she was basically talking about how technology is going to be the mark of the beast. And I think a lot of people would agree with her. When you think about it on a wider scale, what is something that we have in our hands already every day? It's our cell phones. Everything you do on the street, if you're in a busy city, everybody is looking down at their phones. I think it's an understatement to say that people are distracted every day by their phones. Like, I don't even know how to explain it enough to make people realize how distracted we really are. And it's not y'all, it's not people, it's everybody. It's me, it's you. These phones, man, these phones will damn near be the death of people. And, I'm talking about mentally, physically, everything. It takes away from everything. Y'all already know what technology is doing to us mentally, what it's doing to our brains. Like I said, I think a lot of people would agree that technology is the mark of the beast. It will be something that will take us to great heights as a human civilization, and then it will also be our downfall, which at the end of the day goes back to duality, the balance of I guess good and evil, because eventually it will become evil, as in the mark of the beast. And, with a company like Motorola coming out and saying that eventually 2030 agenda, probably all kind of stuff they got planned with something like that, turning a cell phone into a chip in your hand, you can only imagine what they really got planned. That even takes it back to now being able to pay for your food at Whole Foods with your hand. So in a way, they're getting you ready. So I would have to say I completely agree that technology and something like that being, the mark of the beast. Now, when we start talking about 666 and, www as in World Wide Web, and how it basically, I guess you want to say, equals the same thing as in when you're typing www, you're typing 666. If I'm not mistaken, it actually comes from the Hebrew letter W. I think W is VAV in Hebrew, and that equals to 666. So it's VAV, VAV, VAV equals 666, which is WWW if you squint hard enough and you really want to try to make that make sense. It is what it is, but we got enough of WWW and where it actually comes from. This is why I said, we've done a video about this, especially when it relates back to CERN. She said, It's just an acronym. We gave it that name. So before it was just WWW, which in turn is 666. But if, you've done research on this stuff, you will come to find out that Tim Berners-Lee is the guy who invented the World Wide Web while working at CERN in 1989. Now, he is not the inventor of the internet. I think the internet was invented by two scientists in the 60s. But he is the guy that invented the World Wide Web in 1989. The web was originally conceived and developed to meet the demand for automatic information sharing between scientists in universities and institutes. CERN is not an isolated laboratory, but rather a focus for extensive community that includes more than 10,000 scientists from over 100 countries. Berners-Lee wrote the first proposal for the World Wide Web at CERN in 1989, further refining the proposal with Belgian systems engineer Robert Cailloux the following year. On November 12, 1990, the pair published a form proposal outlining principal concept and defining important terms behind the web. The document described a hypertext project called World Wide Web, in which a web of hypertext documents could be viewed by browsers. And by the end of 1990, prototype software for a basic web system was already being demonstrated. We already know about CERN with the Hadron Collider, them basically trying to recreate the Big Bang, them finding the God particle, trying to find what makes the fabric of this world, the dark matter, the things that surrounds us, that is 95% of this universe, but we just can't see it. They want to tap into that. Goes back to like how Pastor Darby and a bunch of other people have said. They gave it the example of, like, say you're building a house, and instead of houses being built with nails, you find out that the house was built with glue. And now you want to know what makes the glue, what makes the glue stick. Where does the glue come from? That is what CERN is trying to do with the universe. They want to know what God used to separate the physical and spiritual world. That is what they are trying to accomplish. That's why so many of them will openly admit that they're opening portals and they don't know what's going to come out of those portals. They're basically trying to, pierce the veil. They want to know what is behind the veil, what makes it up. No matter what, what kind of dark entities enter into our world, they want to know. That is what they're trying to create, while also trying to create a universe without time and a universe without God. And that goes back to the devil himself. And now that you know what CERN is all about, and we have that understanding, we will now understand how the internet was created. If the internet was created at a place like CERN, where I just explained to you what they are trying to do, what they're trying to tap into with this universe, then obviously this knowledge was given to them by spirits, fallen angel spirits. It was obviously given to them so that the devil can, continue to be the God of this world. The devil wants to be omnipresent like God, and the internet and technology is his way of doing that. Why do you think everyone is stuck on their phones now? This is why he created the internet. This is why algorithms are created. This is why everything that has to do with technology has been created. All of this knowledge has been given to people by fallen angels. It didn't just come out of nowhere. This is his way to be omnipresent, in order to track and watch and see everything. The devil can attack you through many ways. Doesn't have to be, physically in your life. It's mostly done mentally right here on the internet.
Anybody can put a name on something. What do you call it? A non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. What do I call it? A nigga don't ask. It means the same thing. Don't we want to accept what's right in our faces? Want to know why? Because motherfuckers get up and ask this a question before they ask God a question.
Because motherfuckers get up and ask this a question before they ask God a question.
Matter of fact, I know motherfuckers that's so fucking cold in this motherfucking system shit, that's so fucking caught up in the matrix shit, that they actually think they're praising God when they get online and start praising God, for people to see them praising God but didn't pray before they went live. You trusted, you needed to get on that technology before you even prayed and thanked God. How many of us are guilty of that? Even me some days. Even me, like we're there. It says don't bow down to any graven images. And I sat here and I proved to you there's a young man whose music I love, and his own lyric is, I would trade her love for a Grammy. The greatest gifts in life: love, charity. You know, we got a book. It's written in plain English. They might have fucked around with it a little bit, but the meat of it is still there. We're always busy trying to reinterpret it and interpret it and make it mean what we want it to mean, and yet we don't acknowledge it for what it say. We just want to make it mean what we want to make it mean. And that's why I love that movie, The Book of Eli, with Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman. And the coldest line in that whole film was when they kept asking Gary Oldman, why do you keep sending us to get killed by this guy for this fucking book? We bring you books all the time. What's so special about this book? He said, you don't understand. It's the words in the book. If I read these words, they'll do whatever I say because it comes from the book. He was talking about the Bible. And the one thing he proved is this: those words are very valuable, whether you're using them for the right thing or whether you're using them for the wrong thing. Jesus Christ goes to the synagogue, gets upset because he don't like what's happening. There's more money handling and more judging going on than people actually getting their souls fed and actually really having fellowship and really seeing it in each other to come closer to God. No, it didn't look nothing like that. He flipped out. He had something to say about it. And he said, my Father said his house is to be a house of worship for all people. That means you, all people. No separation. All people means all people. Yet we have 80 million fucking denominations and we're arguing about the same God. No, he's my God. No, my God's better than, no, my God don't, no, because my God. Like, I think we keep forgetting the program was designed to make the mind trust the program. So much so to the point where you don't even realize you're doing it when you're doing it.
Now, the part that I slowed down, I thought was very powerful. And, you know, one of my points with this videos was just to show y'all how much, you know, the phones and technology is basically taken over our lives. Not taking over our lives. It has already took over our lives. And she said people will ask their phones a question before they actually, you know, pray to God. You know, pray to God about a situation going on in your life. Instead, you are Googling about a situation that's going on in your life. And it goes back to the beginning of this video where we were talking about, you know, if technology or the cell phone is possibly the mark of the beast, you know, or maybe not the cell phone, but just technology in general. But that right there is very powerful, and it really goes to show you how much it controls our lives. And I think to a degree, we all are guilty of it. You know, I'm not saying y'all don't pray to God about y'all life, but a lot of things that we look in our phone for or we search for, we should be praying to God for. You know, using the power of Jesus Christ's name using the Bible, because it's still the Bible. It still means the same thing. Those words still hold value to our everyday life, no matter how much, things have been tweaked or changed in the Bible throughout time, I mean. And that was also very important what she talked about as well, back with the movie with Denzel Washington. But, I think the phone thing, and in comparison to how we don't pray to God enough about the things that's going on in our life is, we could talk about that all day long, because that's directly what's affecting us. And it's also getting in the way of a relationship with God. So I think it's definitely important for people to take more breaks off the internet, off your phone. Obviously, you communicate with people through your phone, but I think, just try to make it a point where the phone is not controlling everything that you do in your life. People Google insane questions about their lives. People are looking on the internet for answers about problems that they have in their life instead of praying to God, and down to the most simple things. Sometimes I don't believe some of the questions that people ask Google. And then you got to think about it. Who are you actually asking? Because that goes back to where the internet, was created. I believe spirits control the internet to a degree. Like, I believe demonic spirits is what controls the internet to a degree. So we got to think about, who are we actually asking these questions? I also believe God uses the internet as well. So it does go both ways. And we've had that talk on the channel before about, God using the internet. But it's obvious because, we wouldn't be able to connect to each other if God didn't use the internet. So I think it definitely goes both ways. And, the internet is not entirely demonic, if that makes sense. If the internet was created at CERN, if the World Wide Web was created at CERN, and we know what they do at CERN, and how they are basically trying to invite whatever they can into this world in order to, answer their own questions about the universe, then why wouldn't you think that, spirits is what basically makes up the internet? If we know the knowledge came from fallen angels, then, when you're searching the internet, you got Siri, you got all these, AIs that are on your phone, that are on apps. We have to think about the fact that this stuff is demonic spirits, y'all. So you're asking questions about your life, and you're getting answers from a spirit, in a sense, Like, just think about it for a second. It could be very well possible. But yeah, man, I just want y'all to think on that. I don't think I got to go too much further because, she definitely went in and doesn't need much, further explanation about it. I think right here you'll be left with enough to actually think about and question, these devices that we have in our lives. So with that being said, y'all, I appreciate y'all watching, man. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all weekend. To all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. And yeah, man, with that being said, it's Black Balloon, and I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm out.